There they go into the back. The blue line on. We have a race, and Satnova's beaten Pure Steel out by a length and a half.
Welcome to Talking Trots, hosted by Mortz and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
The sensational Sydney sider, Seals to Sam, comes off the back straight. He's a bucket load of alliteration, this fellow.
Scott Bomber Hill will join the boys to look at the Friday night meeting at Gloucester Park, and Hayden King will find the winners for the weekend's racing.
Here comes Quinny. I'm the mighty Queen is 4 deep and letting go.
Sit back and enjoy Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
I'm the mighty Queen is just in front. Dasher VC can do no more, and the West Australian champion has done it again.
Hello and welcome to Talking Trots for another week. Hayden King with you this week. Neither Glen Mortimer nor Michael Radley here tonight, but I've got a very able substitute. Glen Moore, how are you, Glen?
Good morning, Hayden. Hayden, how are you? Yes, look, what a night we've got coming up. The Sky Channel WA Derby with a new superstar never ending on the scene, but a great lineup of horses up against him. The barrier draws have sort of fallen in his favour, I'd say. Basically 11 is a dream draw for a horse like him. But a little bit of traffic, but it gives him the opportunity to settle. We've also got Sky Channel obviously sponsoring the meeting. We've got the Derby Consolation, which in itself is a great field. A few unlucky people didn't quite make the field. And of course the Sky Channel Navy Cup, the Group 3 Navy Cup, a lead up to the Pacing Cup. There's plenty on, a very deep program. Brittany Graham will be joining us as well. So Sky Channel have thrown the kitchen sink at it, and we've got a tremendous night coming.
Indeed we do. It's one of the most long-awaited features we've had in recent memory in West Australian harness racing, this year's WA Derby. Of course, the preeminent seed, number one for essentially the last 18 months, has been never-ending, but it shouldn't be a walk in the park. We've had horses like Mr. Smarty in recent weeks stamp his claims for the throne. Sky Lou's come up with gate number one, and he's a horse that's definitely improved with each time he's gone out there. And that's just a couple from the whole senior yard. He's still got I'm the Black Flash and Star Lavra, the emergency. We're about to catch up with senior in a moment. First, though, we'll go back to last week. Glen he was able to strike gold again in the JP Stratton Cup, this time with Diego.
Bromac, the inside is himself, Magnificent Storm. He's trying to bullock into the clear. Jumping Jack Mack is running home strongly with Minstrel. Diego, the outside, Tenzing Bromac. Magnificent Storm is out and flashing. Diego's in front. Magnificent Storm lunged too late. Diego has won. Diego from Magnificent Storm, Tenzing Bromac.
Yes, Diego was able to take out last week's ABR Summit Bloodstock JP Stratton Cup, and one of many horses that Senior has going for a tilt at the Pacing Cups. It's a good time for him, as it is each and every year. How are you, Senior?
Yeah, I'm good, Hayden. How are you? How are you, Glenn?
Yeah, going well, Gary. Pretty important timing for a horse like Diego to start striking form at the right time of the year. He's been leading up into it. Of course, the nervous wait, I guess, for the barrier draws on the Monday at Pinjarra. You'll be over at the Melbourne Cup, so you'll have your deputies in there trying to pick the best draws for your entrance into the Pacing Cup at Pinjarra on Monday.
Yeah, that's right, Glenn. You know, I've got the same old team in again as there was last January anyway, and you know, we obviously need good barrier draws, but you know, Magnificent Storm is the benchmark. I think his first up run was outstanding, and if he drew the lead, I think it'd be pretty hard for us to beat him. But the 2,500 metres is always in my favour in those races, and you know, they're never ever just processions. They're usually up-tempo races, so that suits me as well. So I'm hoping that's what it is. And the barrier draws are important, but they're not everything. I've won a few of them from bad draws as well.
Would you have in terms of the Pacing Cup, we've got the Derby this week, but in terms of the Pacing Cup, you're happy with all horses you've got into the Cup, or presumably will make the Cup from what has been happening in the last few weeks and months? Are you very happy, or have you got a pecking order there for which one you slightly favour pre-draw?
Yeah, I'm very happy with them, but I think in order of ability, you know, this Jumping Jack Mack would have the most ability of them all. He's a bit one-dimensional. He's got to be held up. He can't do any work, or he's maybe got a lead. Diego's obviously very dour at times. You know, he's always been consistent and dour when he gets a good draw. Prince of Pleasure, as you know, he's a sit and sprint horse, or he needs to get that perfect run. Junior's quite pleased with the way he's going, and he said that he's definitely a chance if he gets the right draw. And well, we're surprised when he won from barrier 9, and I don't think I think he's going as good, if not better, than he was then. But he's just hasn't had any luck lately, so he needs a draw where he can just come up from 2 or 3 fence and in a fast run race, and he'd be competitive as well. So, but really on ability, Jumbo-Jet Max the better of them all. Diego's such a trier that brings him up to that level, and the other two need a lot of luck, I think.
There's a lot of competition in there, isn't there, really? When you look at it, it's a deep, even type field, depending on the barrier draw. Obviously, Magnificent Storm's the comeback was excellent, and he indicates that he's on song. He'd be one that if he drew to pop to the front, you'd be very concerned about. But when you look at it, there's not a lot of difference between these horses, particularly when you get to the 2,500. That does level them out, doesn't it? And you've got the Bond team, they've got versatile horses in there, and take a forward position as well. There's going to be plenty of competition out there.
Yeah, the Pacing Cup's always very competitive. That's what I like about it, because it's not just a procession, a one-horse race. Quite often people have thought, once the draw comes out, this horse or that horse is a certainty, but that never seems to be the case. And although like this year Diego drew 1 and led, and he was in peak form, and he looked a good thing in that particular race, but it doesn't always happen. And there's a few horses in there that I think the 2,500 finds them out, and I think Magnificent Storm's a great horse, but his record over the 25 against the top horses in the bigger races hasn't been fantastic, I don't think anyway. But I think they've done the right thing with him. They brought him back. They've given him a run first up, and he went fantastic. And he's in tomorrow night, which I think is important. If he had missed tomorrow night, I would have been a bit more confident. But I know what a good horse he is, and he's probably the one to beat at this early stage anyway.
And Gary, on to the Sky Channel WA Derby. You've got 3 horses in there in the first emergency as well. That's a big effort in itself. Sky Lou, the one that's drawn the ace. You probably really wanted the Black Flash or Mr. Smarty, I guess, to get that draw. Would that be the case for a start? And how did you feel after you looked at the draws, Never Ending Draw on the 11 and Mr. Smarty the 8, and on the Black Flash the 12? What sort of view did you take after that about your chances of maybe winning the event?
What's the terminology? Throwing the toys out of the cot?
Yep, that was the immediate reaction.
Yeah, I just thought, that's the barrier 11 for Never Ending. That's a great draw for him, and he's behind a reasonably good beginner. And Mr. Smarty, who I really like as a horse, and I think is going to be a horse of the future. He's drawn out in 8, which makes it very hard for him. Sky Lou, the least experienced of my 3, and probably he's the one that drew the best, and I would have rather Mr. Smarty, as you say, or Black Flash drawn there, but I would have been more confident. I would have been a lot more confident if Mr. Smarty had drawn there, but Sky Lou has taken every step he's supposed to take, and he's kept improving every time. He's a quick beginner. I'm pretty sure he'll lead no problems. It's just a matter of how much pressure Mickey's Beach or maybe Rolling Fire put on him out of the gate, and I think he's definitely a chance, and I think he'll like the rail, and he'll like being in front, and he proved last start when he got to the line and beat Hayden Campo's horse that he's got a fair bit of bottom to him as well. So I don't think he'll worry about leading, and the distance won't worry him, I believe.
Senior Mr. Smarty drawn out wide. How do you have him positioned? Does he likely go forward early, try to find the breeze?
Well, that'd be the ideal situation, but I don't think Mickey's Beach or Rolling Fire will let him get around them, because they, if I owned them, if I was training Never Ending and those 2 horses, I wouldn't let Mr. Smarty get into the race, because he'd be the obvious danger, I think, on ability. So I think that might not be the case, but I don't know. I'll have to leave Stewie to figure that out as the barrier releases, but I'm not quite sure what to expect from him, because we've just sent him to the front every race he's been in because we know how good he is, and that's what we do, what we've done with him. But this is a different kettle of fish, and he proved in New Zealand that he can come from behind, and he's a high class horse. He's not one dimensional, and I really believe that if the Derby's run a bit up tempo and there's a bit going on, and Never Ending has to do a bit of work, I don't think he's ever won over the 2,500 metres. So it might be it might give him some chance, even if he goes back and can get a nice run into the race. And I think he'd have to go a bit earlier, but he'd have to go, coming in for the bell or something. He couldn't leave it for the last 400 metre sprint. But it's I don't really know where he's at in that capacity. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, obviously Sky Lou came here with good credentials, but has he surprised you at all with his progression in recent weeks, particularly last start? It looked like he was down and out there, but he really showed a good spirit to get to the line and win.
Yeah, no, he hasn't surprised me at all. I think he's a high-class horse. And, the only disappointing run he put in was that race where he got pushed forward wide at the bell, and he was completely out of his comfort zone, and he's the inexperienced colt then, and he didn't handle it because they went that fast, and I was a bit shocked that he didn't handle it. But there's good horses like Soriadera and those type of horses that had much better runs than him that finished back there behind him, and that was a really taxing race for 3-year-olds, that particular race. So I wasn't that upset with him. I just thought it was just inexperienced, but I don't know what to expect from him Friday night. Tomorrow night, if he leads and he gets away with a bit early, and then I would say he'd be pretty hard to beat myself. But Never Ending has been breathtaking, really, with what he's done since he's been racing, and it's hard to say. But the 2,500 metres, if he happened to get a bit fierce, he happened to get caught up in traffic. Never know what can happen. So, I don't wish Junior any luck.
Yeah, Gary, when you look at it too, you were talking about Mr. Smarty's drawn 8, and Justin Brenner's got a couple underneath him, Mickey's Beach and Rolling Fire, tend to go forward. If you look at it deeper again, I mean, you've got Bond with Fierce Up and Turn the Page drawn inside them, and they've got Lusaka drawing the river. They wouldn't be happy with that draw, but Lusaka circled the field last start. The entire field to get into that race and run second, a massive run. So there could be, from the Bond's viewpoint, a reason to be reasonably aggressive for a start with Fierce Up and maybe Turn the Page to a lesser extent being a filly, but to hold their positions up front and not necessarily grant the easy positions to Mickey's Beach, say, and Rolling Fire as well, and others, of course. But, there's a few curveballs in this, isn't there, to assess?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the draw. I just wish that Lusaka, Never Ending, and Mr. Smarty had drawn 8, 9, and 7, 8, and 9, or something like that, and then it would have made a real race of it. Because when I went into the race, I nominated my horses, and I thought there was only 4 winning chances. That was Never Ending, the Black Flash, Mr. Smarty, and
Lusaka.
They were the 4 that I singled out as the ones to beat.
Yep.
The barrier draw just threw that all out the window, I think. But, you never know. It still might end up like that.
Yeah, obviously, you still must have a pretty high opinion then if you've got I'm the Black Flash in the same calibre as those other 3. You think he has what it takes to win this race?
The Black Flash will be one of WA's best horses in a couple of years, I reckon. He's a little small horse that's immature, and he got gelded midway through his 3-year-old campaign, and he won the Caduceus Cup last time, and his form has been fantastic in the last 3 or 4 runs, and he's got high speed and he's tough, and I think he's a good horse. He reminds me of Chicago Bull with a little bit more speed. So I'm not saying he's going to win the Derby from barrier 12, but I think he will be a horse of the future. He's a really good horse.
Gary,
but yeah, sorry. Yeah,
no, go on. Well, just
that Mr. Smarty's shown me so much that I sort of lean towards him at the moment. But the Black Flash is a high-class 3-year-old. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's a big wrap. Look, last week, interestingly enough, 11 races, only 4 leaders won. When you got pressure racing at Gloucester Park, this can happen. So sometimes these bad draws can turn out to be okay. And we get a few leaders win at Gloucester Park, but last week 4 out of 11 only that led And you've got Shani Girl. I'll have to test that stat on Friday night, drawn barrier 7 in race 2. She's got a picket fence record, but she's had the break, and she's got all the dangers, Steno, Miss Sassy, Montana Glory, and Born to Boogie following out Montana Glory. In taking the Mickey drawn inside a Shani Girl, that is a very tricky race again to assess.
Yeah, it is. The hope that I've got is there that Montana Glory decides to try and lead and hold Steno out, and then that probably brings the Shani Girl into it. But if Steno finds the front, I think that's the end of the race. I believe anyway, because Steno's a pretty high class mare, and when she led, she pretty easily handled Wonderful to Fly. So if she's in that sort of form when she led, she'd be very hard to beat. But Shani Girl probably is not at 100% at her best. I don't think. She missed a bit of work because she got a temperature, and I had 2 or 3 days where she wasn't quite 100%. Her work before that was real good, and then her work tapered off a bit. But Wednesday she showed signs of returning to her best, and I'm hoping that by Friday night she's going to be at her best, and she'll go close. But she's always a trier. She never ever gives up. But she might lack a touch of brilliance, that's all. And the 7's going to be difficult.
Gary, the Norman Daughter's on the following week, I think the 10th of November, Pacing Cup, $900,000 race. That'd be the main target for her at this stage, would it? Immediate target.
Yeah, provided she comes through tomorrow night, okay. Yeah, that would be the immediate target, and I hope she just keeps on improving. She looks terrific. I can't fault her on looks and everything and the way she's doing now, but as I said, her first couple of runs after she had the little problem weren't as good as I thought they'd be, and she's just gradually got better, But
yep.
In saying that, she's never been a brilliant track worker at home. She's never been outstanding at home, and she always finds more at the races, so I'm hoping that's what happens.
Senior, the Derby Consolation, you've got Star Lavra engaged here. Gee, this looks an even sort of race. How did you line him up in terms of early position there? 4 looks a bit awkward.
Looks very awkward. I thought you might help me, Hayden, with that one.
Well, I think there's a lot of pace either side of you, and you could be Malcolm in the middle.
The interesting part early, just to jump in, Gary, Rocket City got the hood on this week. A lot of gate speed. It couldn't get past Mr. Smarty, clearly. Mr. Smarty held it. Got about a neck to nearly, probably a long neck on him. Draw 1 and 2. This week he's out in 5 with a hood on. So you'd imagine there'd be some intent. There might be another reason for putting the hood on as well, but it's 2,500 metres.
Yeah, putting a hood on him's fine. He might find the lead, but I think the 2,500 metre, from what I've seen of him, will find him out. Hotly pursues the other one that's got brilliant gate speed, and they'll probably go forward with that. So it might suit Star Lavra if they all go a bit stupid and he can slot into the field somewhere. And he's definitely got as much ability as anything in the race, so I'm confident of that.
Well, they might want to try and lead with Lombo Mitchinson, and then I think Dorado's the one who could really have a shot in 3 as well. There could be a heap going on, and obviously you'd be the beneficiary of that.
And crowd control doing 2. So, there's plenty there.
Yeah, crowd control, I don't think crowd control at the 200. I don't think he's that sort of horse. I think he's got to be driven quite early, and he goes better that way. But, yeah, I think there could be a fair bit on. It's just where we end up. That's the problem. We don't want to be 3 wide, going back to the rear sort of thing. So you'd want to be close handy to him when the pace is on. But I wouldn't. Star Lavra will be suited by the 2,500 metres. He's quite a strong horse, and he's got really good ability. He's just a little bit he's a very big horse. I think he'll just get better with time. He's
had the 2 runs back. The last run against the older horses, including 2 very good horses as well. He just got narrowly beaten. Would you say that run would have topped him off for tomorrow night in terms of fitness? Where would he be?
Yeah, I think he'd be pretty much ready to go now. He's been working pretty good with Mr. Smarty. He's Mr. Smarty's track mate, and there's not much between them when they work. And they ran home in 26.9 on Wednesday at Pinjarra, but Pinjarra's a fast track. That's probably not saying too much, but it means he's on song, and I think he's fit enough for sure. I think he'll go good. I just hope he can get a good run.
Yeah, in race 7, you got Master Publisher giving Emily Johnson the opportunity with the concession. It's good to see her getting a chance. Very awkward draw though, Master Publisher.
Yeah, bit unlucky last start.
Big run.
He got badly checked off the back straight when Jetstar came down on top of him I can't think of the horse, came back into the field and Jetstar got down on top of him. He lost about 2 or 3 lengths and he got beat a length on that in a really good field. I think he's a winning chance, but he's going to have the race has got to be run pretty hard and up tempo, and if he can get a reasonable run, he's got a good chance, I think, each way.
Gee, he's going well though, Senior. This time in, it's the best he's ever been going, particularly his last handful of starts. He's really elevated himself this campaign.
Yeah, he surprised me. He looks $1 million too, so he's going good. No, last run completely shocked me. I couldn't understand why he dropped off 3 lengths in the back straight until I had a relook at the replay and saw what happened to him. But he went fantastic, and once he got motivated in Australia, he really hammered home. And if they run it up tempo, he's definitely a winning chance. There's no doubt about that. But hopefully it's a good drive family, and I can use it a bit more as a junior driver concession because I haven't been using anyway. There's no one to use really that much. So she seems to be doing a good job, and Hayden's taught her a bit of aggression, and I like that. So hopefully the horse goes good for her.
Gary, the last race, high price, seemingly in the doldrums a little bit, but pretty tough last week, coming 3 deep with the favourite in front rolling, trying to get in the race. This week he's got more favourable draw behind the likely leader, Darty Boy.
Yeah, I'm going to tip him each way, okay?
Yep.
I think his work was good during the week. I've made a couple of gear changes. I really like the way he worked on Wednesday. I think he can win from there. I really do. But if he was off the front, I'd almost declare him. But he's a bit of a confidence horse. He wasn't ready to go early like he did last week. I think Junior made an error there. He wasn't ready for that at that stage. He needed the run, and I think tomorrow night he'll go pretty good.
He was chasing a good horse last week too that was rolling along. So it was a difficult task as it turned out. He couldn't get in the race. But, yeah, look, I'm agreeing with you. I think it's a beautiful draw. He's just got to get a little bit of luck there. There's an unknown in there, Rupert of Lincoln, trialled quite well. And Cut and Run, drawn wide first up. There's a couple in there, a little bit unknown, but I would think he's well and truly up to it. I agree with you. If he's each way price would be a reasonable bet. With the 4-year-olds coming up, the 4-year-old classics, etc., towards in the next few weeks and leading into the Nugget in December, what sort of lineup are you looking at there for that? What would you say are your main chances leading into up to the Golden Nugget?
I've only really got 2, Glenn. I mean, Charney Gill's a 4-year-old, but I don't like racing mares against those top company. And she's got the Mares Classic and those sort of races for in the race next week. So she won't be going in them. I don't think High Price is up to that class. It's so the ones that I've got are my watch list and
You're So Fine.
Yeah. I think You're So Fine's a really good horse. He lacks a little bit of point-to-point speed, but Watchley's got everything needed to win a Golden Nugget. He's got the stamina, he's got speed. It's just that I've had to rush him a bit to get into this stage. So I think he's definitely a horse to watch.
He's almost like a bit of a Prince of Pleasure setup. How you're taking him through these low-grade races, and then you've got a big target coming up, and it's going to be a baptism of fire to throw him in the deep end and see if he responds to that. Yeah,
he's definitely not a Prince of Pleasure type horse. Prince of Pleasure is a bit soft if he has to do too much.
No, I mean like in the preparation terms.
Yeah, the preparation's been pretty similar, but that's only because I've been forced to do that because he's had a lot of feet problems that I've taken a long time to get him over, and he's just, I've had to rush him a little bit, but he's fine now at the moment, and I'm really happy with him, and I'm just looking forward to the next few weeks with him. I think he could end up one of my better horses. He's very, very good, I think, ability-wise anyway.
My Ultimate Ronnie looks like he's coming over, booked on the plane, etc. So he'll add a lot of interest. It's great that we're getting these Eastern States horses coming back to Western Australia to have a crack, and it creates a lot of interest given the fact that 90% of our audience is from the Eastern States and our punting turnover, 90% of it comes from over east, so the fact they come here and there's horses coming in, Michael Young's brought in a lot of horses come from the eastern states to WA. They've already got a following, so it's tremendous to watch. And we've got the New Zealand part of it as well, where you've got owners from New Zealand, Diego, etc., involved in horses here. There's a lot of national interest now.
Yeah, well, so it should be. That's how it should be. I would like to see more of those horses come over here, but there's good and bad for me. The weaker the races are, the better. when they came over here like they did in the Nullarbor last year, that was or in January or whenever it was, April, sorry. That was a bit disappointing, that race, because of what happened in the run. I thought they were allowed to get away with it a bit, and that's probably one of the first times ever those horses have come over here and dictated to us, and I would hope that everybody over here doesn't let them do it again. It's
probably whetted their appetite, so out of the negative became a positive. They're now looking at coming over here. They've travelled them, they've achieved it, regardless of, a bit of luck with their way, no doubt about that, but the circumstances are now they know they can do it, so they're likely to come back.
Well, it takes me back to the time when horses like Westmoreland Grant and Sinbad Bay and Luke McCarthy used to bring his good mares over here and that, and for the Oaks, and we used to get all those horses over here in the early days, and that was fantastic, and we loved seeing them, and that hasn't happened lately, so we don't get the exposure that we should do, and it'd be good to see them all come back, but I've always liked races that are up tempo with good horses in it, because nobody wants to give up to anybody, and they're all being very competitive in the race, and so it makes for great racing, and you're always a winning chance if there's plenty of competition on. But people say Gloucester Park's a front running track, and you alluded to the fact that only 4 won last week leading. I don't think it is you just have to drive it different, and it's front runner's track. When they just walk around the procession, but when you get the up-tempo races and a lot of depth in them, it's not a front-runner's track. So, and I think trotting or pacing is a front-runner's medium, no matter what track you're on.
True. Yep.
Yeah. Well, he likes it because his horses are usually the last one standing.
Who, Glen?
No, you.
No, they've got to be good stayers. There's no doubt about that.
So, I like winning races.
Yeah, and also just on that Eastern flavour, Captain Ravishing may be coming over for the Nugget and already leaped to fame thinking about coming over for the Nullarbor.
Be interesting if they do, that's for sure.
I can just about bet you leap to fame when it comes, but not that I wouldn't like to see it here. I'd like to see it here, but I don't think it'll come. They've said that a lot of times. They like to stay in their own place with Dixon, and he's always done that, kept them over there, and sort of tried to develop them that way. But I don't think he'll come. But Captain Ravishing might come. The only problem with that is I think Gary was touted as maybe the driver for it, and I wouldn't like that.
He can't drive more than one. The other issue, leave to fame, of course, the Eureka. He won't be eligible, will he, next year for the Eureka? Don't think, no. 3- and 4-year-old race, he won't be eligible. So they might be thinking of our slot race, or they might be thinking Miracle Mile, Hunter Cup type thing.
Nugget. Didn't Hayden say the Golden Nugget?
Yeah. What about the slot race?
Well, potentially later.
Yeah.
He'd be set for the Inter-Dominions, I think.
Inter-Dominions now coming up soon, so then next year, whether the Nuggets too much on top of that maybe, but I was thinking the slot race myself in April, if it's worth the sort of money it is, they may be tempted.
Yeah, they may be tempted for that, but I as I said, I doubt it. They haven't. History tells me that they won't come. That's the feeling. Captain Ravishing, they've always been thinking of coming over here, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came.
No, he's an interesting horse because they don't seem to be able to get long preparation into him. And, of course, he has had that habit of hanging, which if they produce him this time in, we'll see whether they've straightened him up. If they've straightened him up, he'd be a dangerous horse around Gloucester Park. No doubt about that.
He's obviously a high-class horse. He's, he's an outstanding horse, but yeah, as you say, Gloucester Park might be a little bit of a problem for him, but I don't think so. I get tired of people saying that Gloucester Park's too tight a track and that horses can't handle it. You just got to drive it different. You know, obviously horses can't handle coming off the back straight 3 or 4 and 5 wide when they're running 27, 28 quarters. So if you're confident enough in your horse, put them into the race, boys, and you'll be winning.
All right, Senior, who's your best tomorrow night? Are we backing high price each way?
Yeah, probably I'll have to go for high price each way because, you know, he worked pretty good on Wednesday, and I'm hoping that he gets a bit of luck. So I don't think it doesn't look to me to be a great night for me on paper, but I'm hoping.
Well, here's hoping. You said there were comparisons between On the Black Flash and Chicago Bull. Hopefully it's like Bully's win back in 2016, then you can revive some of those memories.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like that.
I think it was the only derby that Mark Purden never won. I think he won every derby around Australia plus New Zealand, and Chicago Bull knocked off his West Australian derby, which was a nice little achievement. It's pretty rare to knock him off.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
Definitely.
It was quite exciting from memory.
7 years ago.
It's going to be exciting tomorrow night on that action-packed program. I think there's going to be plenty of moves and an exciting night. Let's hope.
All right, thanks for coming on, Senior.
No worries, Hayden. Everyone should get down there to see that race, even if it's just to see Never Ending, because, you know, win, lose or draw, he's a really great horse, and he's going to be a horse that's going to be, you know, keep tongue wagging for some time, I'm sure. He's a phenomenal horse. Anyway, no worries.
All right.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
See you guys. Bye.
That's Gary Hall Senior. Pleasure to talk to Senior as always, Glenn. Hopefully he can have some luck tomorrow night, although he goes into it reasonably pessimistic. Yeah,
sort of pessimistically, because they're awkward races, and you're talking Never Ending as your opposition. That's a tricky outcome, but anything can happen in those races, and some of those races are going to be just worth watching for the spectacle as well. And if you can find the winner in some of these races tomorrow night, Hayden, there's going to be plenty of value.
Yeah. Let's go to a break now. We're tight on time. We've got to get to Bomber. Before we do, though, this segment brought to us by Retrovision. Best of luck to Mortz tomorrow night with Never Ending. So he'll be clashing Senior, but get into Retrovision, save an extra 5% every day. Blitz and Buy. Back on the pegs last week, smuggled up, flashed to the post. Glen, is he a smoky for a Pacing Cup start?
I think he'll get in. I've got him and Valentine's Brook in the field.
Okay, let's go to a break. Here's Blitz and Buy taking out last week's condition pace.
Get underneath the Mustang and Armour Rhinestone runs on, and then came Blitz and Buy in the straight though. Valentine's Brook has raced up and taken the lead, but Petronas Star is out and flashing. Valentine's Brook in front. Here's Petronas Star, Blitz and Buy as well. Valentine's Brook in front, Blitz and Buy absolutely thundering down the outside. They hit the line, photo finish. Blitz and Buy has flown at Valentine's Brook and might have got there right on the post. It's a photo. Petronas Star is closer.
Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Shell Patch in front, Al Capone looking dangerous, Cordero to the outside, but Shell Patch in front, 150 to go. Here's Cordero rattling down the outside, all over the top. Shell Patch in front, Cordero's flashing, Shell Patch, Cordero goes to Shell Patch, Cordero, Shell Patch just in front. Shell Patch has won from Cordero, master publisher at Al Capone.
Yeah, Shell Patch hanging on very grimly indeed there last week. Glenn, could he get in?
I think he'd have to win tomorrow night to take his claim, because I think last week Blitz and Buy and Valentine's Brook did enough for me. There's a couple last week that to me would probably drop out on that performance, and I would say that those two. But if Shell Patch knocked one of those off tomorrow night, yes, well, he might sneak in, but he'd definitely have to win impressively.
Get into Bayswater Mazda, corner of Guildford and Garrett Road, Bayswater, to get any Mazda of your choice. Do a great job out there. All right, last week, Bomber, I think we went well again, didn't we?
Yeah, got the 4 winners last week and the multi up. So, yeah, it was a good night. If we can repeat that, we'll be happy, Hayden.
Gee, we're on a good run.
It's a very good night.
Got to ride the wave while you're on it, don't you? We know what happens.
All right, we're going to not waste any time here, Bomber. We're going to go straight into race number 2, where you're looking tomorrow night. The follow at Sky Racing AU on Twitter, MS Pace. over 21.30 metres, and it goes at 5.52. Number 1, Montana Glory, who scored during the week by a distance, much harder now. 2, Miss Sassy, held up last time. 3, Steno, second up, no luck last week. And then 4, My Prayer, 5, Ziania, 6, Taking the Mickey, who was able to salute last time out, came off the leader's back and scored there 2 weeks ago. 7, Ashani Girl's been freshened up for this. 8, 5, Bangles, 9, Stormy Skies, and 10, Born to Boogies, had a couple of fitness building runs back. Where do we look here, Bomber?
Yeah, really keen Steno, actually, Hayden. She's a fast beginner, and even if she doesn't zap the 2 inside her off the arm, I think she's almost certain to roll to the top, as either of them would be happy to take a sit. She's led 3 times since coming west and undefeated, so I think over the 21.30 she'll just be too good for them. She was snagged off the gate last time from a wide gate and never got the opportunity to get into the race when she was looking to make ground out wide in a 27.7 third quarter. And importantly, Jocelyn didn't knock her around late there, and I think that would have just tightened her up nicely for this. I think she'll lead and win.
Yeah, there's no prices up yet, unless you've seen some prices.
No prices.
No, just sort of we're in limbo a bit at the moment with no prices going up, Glenn. But I thought if we got 175 plus, it's a bit difficult to know what they will put up, but I'd be happy to take that. I think she'll be win.
I think you'd get that. I think you'll get that price maybe a touch longer, just
you
off
reckon?
the top of Well, with the little Miss Assie's got speed, so's Montana. You need to tune.
Yeah, I
in.
thought
they'll be sitting though.
Girl.
More than likely.
Shani Girl in the race as well.
Shani Girl and Taking the Mickey as well.
Yeah.
In the market, I'm just thinking $1.75 might be right, but maybe a touch better.
I reckon under.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
it rolls straight to the front.
Yeah.
It's $1.30.
I hope we get over and she wins as if she should be under.
Yeah, if it goes straight to the lead, it's going to be shorter than $1.75. Those interviews tomorrow night with Shannon Savelko, Trent Wheeler, they'll be interesting. Miss Tassie did sit straight away last week. Montana Glory, you're going up in class and everything, but it's got the gate speed. There might be a little wrestle between those two initially, maybe, but I would have thought that $1.75. I think you've got it around about right, that price. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yep.
How many units?
Yeah, 3 units. As I said, pretty keen. I really do think she'll lead me.
Okay, we're going to head over to race number 4 now for our second event to look at. We do have a market here for the Sky Racing Active Navy Cup Group 3 level over the 21.30 at $6.51. Number 1, Al Capone, $18. 2, Shellpatch, $7. 3, Blitzen by $23. 4, Galactic Star, $34. 5, I'm a 5-Star General, $41. 6, Magnificent Storm, very short, $1.09. 7, Thompson Bayard, $101. 8, Mighty Ronaldo, $13. 9, Cordero, $100-1. And 10, Armour Einstein, $34. What's the play here?
Yeah, place bet. I can see a speed battle unfold underneath Magnificent Storm here, as I think Al Capone and Chow Patch will both be pretty keen for the pegs and then follow that bloke. But the one I like for the place was Mighty Ronaldo. He's going really, really well. He don't take any notice of his figure form at all. I thought a few might go hunting the pegs here, so he might just lob a little bit closer than first looks from the poor draw. And as I said, despite his 2 duck eggs beside his name, he's run home in 56.2, 55.6 and 56.3 at his last 3. So I think he's going well enough to reel all of these in, bar the hot pot. I think Magnificent Storm will lead and win at $1.09. And I'm not coming up with anything magical there, but I think Mighty Ronaldo can just run over the top of the others into a place.
And he's $1.95 fix, but he may well get out a bit because that's a fairly competitive race for the place price, and he might get a touch better even than that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be much worse.
No,
I actually marked him sort of around the $1.65 place, but I'm with you, Glenn. I don't think he'll get much.
No, I don't think he'll shorten much.
They're only fighting out for 2 place positions, really.
Yep, for sure. How much confidence?
Yeah, another 3-unit one. It's a big drop for him. Apart from the favourite, it's a big drop for him, I think. So, and those sectionals tell me that he can run past most of these.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to take a break now. As we go to the break, last week, Turn the Page was able to do what she does best, toughed it out strongly from the breeze, got the money. Glen, could you I'll pass it to you as well, Bomber, could you guys make any case for her in the Derby tomorrow night?
Well, I think she'll be driven conservative against these colts. They might try and get a position early, but there's no way in the world they'll be pulling 3 deep and trying to put it in the race like they have been lately. massive increase in class. She's a very promising filly. She stays like a colt, but this is a massive jump in class for her.
Bomber?
Yeah, I think if they'll drive it, it'll probably finish top 5, 6. I would think would be the way to drive her, and it's probably the best hope.
Okay, let's go to the break. Last week, Turn the Page, saluting.
Next quarter, around the turn, Rock and Roll Sass just in front from Turn the Page. Might Have Time, Miss Sassy on the Mighty Lucy. I see wins. Rock and Roll Sass in front. Turn the Page, knuckles down with Might Have Time. Turn the Page takes the lead. It's been very tenacious. It draws clear Turn the Page for a magnificent win. Second, Photo, Rock and Roll Sass. A nose to Might Have Time.
You are listening to Talking Trots with Mortz and Michael Radley.
Burst to the front, Belezanira getting out of her pocket, BJ's Boy running on, and then came October Rain. I'm the Black Flash in front, down the outside is BJ's Boy, Belezanira, Piradua Dastra, and also October Rain, but I'm the Black Flash is clear from Belezanira, and I'm the Black Flash is one from Belezanira, and third BJ's Boy from...
That was I'm the Black Flash getting the cash last time out. Senior indicating earlier on he's very impressed with this horse, and it has been a notable progression in recent weeks, Glenn. He was in the wilderness a bit there for a while, and then he got gelded, and now he's beginning to get the message.
Yeah, look, he won the Caduceus Classic before we gelded him, but we knew then that he wasn't putting in 100% because of indifference on the track and, lack of concentration here and there, and mixing his form up a little bit. So once he got gelded, that we made that decision. Of course, after that, they take a while to recover from that, and he's showing that progression now, starting to become a racehorse, get his mind on the job. So, yeah, look, we're pretty happy. Big task tomorrow night, but he's heading in the right direction, no doubt about that.
Absolutely it is. This segment brought to us by Loans 123 1800 100 100, the number you need to call to get in contact if you need some help. All right, race number 5 on the program is the Sky Racing 3-year-old WA Derby, Group 1 level, 25.36, 7.19. Number 1, Skyloo, 7.50. 2, Fess Up, 31. 3, Turn the Page, 31. 4, Mickey's Beach, 26. 5, Sarita Ray at 101. 6, Rolling Fire, 41. 7, Skylord, 34. 8, Mr. Smarty, $7. 9, Lusaka, 31. 10, Louis Dior, 61. 11, Never Ending, $100. $1.34. 12, I'm the Black Flash, 15. And then Star Lavra, 51, the first emergency. And Rocket City, 81, the second. Bomber, who do you like here?
Yeah, another place bet, Hayden. I thought On the Black Flash was a great place, Opie. I can't have Never Ending beaten. I really like this bloke, but I just think he'll jump straight on his back early. And whilst I'm sure he'll probably lose his back at some point with Never Ending heading around to the breeze or possibly even the top, I thought that set up nicely for him. As you touched on in the just as we're leading into this, it's just his last 3 or 4 runs have been just about perfect for a race like this, and he's just gaining more and more momentum and confidence. And yeah, I just think he can get over the top of a few of these late into a place at a really nice place for us.
Yeah, Bomber, when looking at the race, yeah, look, that's good. I hope you're right, because that would be great for the team personally. When you look at this race, have you evaluated what's going to happen underneath? Like Skyloo, the intention will be to lead. How do you evaluate what's going to happen under Mr. Smarty, Rolling Fire, Mickey's Beach, the 2 Bond horses, etc.?
Yeah, well, there's going to be a bit going on underneath, I think. Well, Fess Up, he won't want to lose his spot in the running line. He's going to come out. The pole marker, as you said, even, Sarita Ray or Sorry Dear, it can run the gate if they want to. I think, I can't really map it completely. Obviously, Junior's going to want to, Mr. Smarty's going to want to push forward from out wide, but he won't want to be doing too much early, but he'll want to try and get in front of Never Ending. But I thought Never Ending would ultimately just end up in front of Mr. Smarty, and that would give him the edge. He'll be able to pop around to the breeze or the front. He'll probably get the front, and that could be the end of the race. But it's going to really depend on where Fess Up gets in the running line.
Yep, and On the Black Flash, as you're suggesting, could be suited by all that mayhem that could take place. It might sort itself out quicker than what we think, but you can see that a few of these horses want to get a position forward here.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hoping that's the case. And then this bloke gets just a last look. And, best of luck to you, obviously.
Thank you. We'll need it.
How many units?
Yeah, 2 units. So, he's been a good horse to me these last few. Last week he was a really backable price early. And, I'm happy enough to back up on him the place for sure.
Yeah, that was a weird price last week, wasn't it? $170 when we did the show, was $1.80 before that. And
incredible price, really.
that was addressed early.
Because you're happy to back him breezing last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week, $3.10 a place price we're going to be locking in. All right, last race we're looking at, the hashtag Sky Racing 3-year-old fillies pace 21.30 over at 8:45, and 1 Spirit of an Angel is $7. 2 Jackie Daniels 11, 3 Quattros 14, 4 Unlucky is 11, 5 Lady Violetta 19, 6 All Aglow 260, 7 Our Lily Lou 10, 8 Castella Delacqua 350, 9 I'm a Hero 81, and 10 Purist Copper is at $10. Who do you like, Bomber?
Yeah, I thought Castella Delacqua was, she'd find this a bit easier than the last few assignments. She's chased home Turn the Page, August Moon in the Oaks, and then Sister Sammy on Monday at Pinjarra, where they broke 29 for each of the last 3 quarters and virtually made it impossible for this filly to get into the race. She raced in pretty limited space and was pretty soft late, to be fair, and she won't take much harm out of that. And I wouldn't be completely stunned if they had a crack off the arm here, but regardless of whether she goes forward or back, I think she's probably the class runner and the one to beat.
$3.50 fixed, a reasonable price too for a horse of her ability. How many units?
I marked her around the 330 mark, so we're pretty close there. And I thought it probably a 2-unit bet as well. I'm pretty confident, and I'd love to see her actually have a crack off the arm.
Good.
All right, do you have a multi for us, Bomber?
Yeah, 3-legger. I thought the Code Breaker, I'm not sure what price we'll get, but he'll lead and win in the first, I think. And into Steno, as I touched on, I really like her. And then a place, race 7, number 2, El Chema, looks a great race for him to sit up on the speed over the mile. And, hard to see him missing a place from there as well.
Drop to the fence, you think, or stay in the running line?
No, I think so. I mean, he obviously gets the opportunity to ensure the pole marker is going to hold up. And if that's the case, he'll definitely drop to the fence.
Sounds like a reasonable night.
Yeah, no, it's good night's racing, and hopefully we can land a couple of winners and finish on the right side.
All right, thanks very much, Bomber. Best of luck tomorrow night. Hopefully we've got a winner in there.
Thanks, guys, and best of luck to yourself, Glen, in the big one.
Good on you, Bomber.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
That's Scott Bomber Hill joining us for another week. He's been having a good run. Here's hoping we can keep the good thing going. Glen, last week also we had a thrilling finish to the 3-year-old race we touched on earlier. I must admit, after the start, I thought Magnus Victor was home. Down the back, I thought he was home.
It looked like it.
But he pulled it back from the jaws of defeat, Sky Lou. Can he win a WA Derby?
Well, it's a massive task for him, but he's got the draw to certainly figure. We'll find out more about him. He's, our personal opinion of the horse is very high, but it's also along the lines of 12 months' time. I think he's going to make a serious horse. He's very lightly raced, but he's come forward very quickly, and that run last week, as you suggest, shows he's got a bit of bottom about him, because Magnus Victor is a difficult horse to run down, and the time was solid, and he dug deep. So I think he's improving all the time, and he's drawn the barrier that certainly gives him a chance to earn. But, it's a big test. We'll see how he goes. So certainly going to give him his chance, and we'll go from there.
How confident he leads?
Yeah, look over there, looking at his videos over there, he sketched him out of the gate when they had to. And I'm confident that these horses outside him, Mickey's Beach is quite quick. I think he can hold Fess Ups right alongside him. Mickey's Beach quite quick, but I'm pretty confident that he can hold those horses.
Okay, and also the others in the race we've already touched on the Black Flasher. Mr. Smarty, what's your opinion on him? Where does he end up in the run?
Well, this is a race where I don't think you fill anybody up with instructions. I think you're positive early. You see what's going on underneath you, and obviously he will be dictated to by what's happening underneath him. So I don't think you fill any driver here up with any set instructions. You drive definitely to the pace of the race. Clearly, we'd like to be forward with him if possible, because he's a great stayer. 2,500 is no fear for him. He's won these races over 2,500. New Zealand, before we bought him, he was New Zealand Cup Day, he ran 1:53, I think it was. And that's the fastest time a 2-year-old's ever run at Addington. And that was burning out of the gate, running a free-for-all lead time. That's why we were confident last week he'd hold up. And he burned out, run 1:53. And, we were interested in him before that, but that showed us he's got speed and depth, and he comes to this race, well, it is a mighty test for him because he's going to come wide at Gloucester Park at some point, probably, unless he can get up close to the leaders. I just don't know where he's going to be in running. That's the blue, but one thing about him, he will stay, and I think regardless of how the race is run, as long as he doesn't, do too much work, I think he'll be in the finish somewhere.
I should have asked Senior this question. I'm not sure if you know the answer. How nervous would Senior get before a race like this?
No, he gets nervous. Don't worry about that. Look, I've been going to the trots since I was a kid and watching our horses go around. I get nervous. And I like to stand by myself, basically. Quite often he's down my end, away from all the crowd.
You go up halfway up the home straight.
Yeah, I've always stood up there watching him over the years, and it relaxes me a bit. But, I get a little bit nervous before any race, quite frankly. That's part of the fun of being a horse owner. But when you get to these ones, you get a little bit more accustomed over the years. But no, we'll be nervous, and all these drivers should be nervous. There's something wrong with them if they're not. I think it's a very good thing to be. That gets them on their toes. And but once that blue light goes on, if you ask them, most of them will tell you they're pretty relaxed going up to the gate. And that they get nervous before they go on the track. But once they're out there, most of these drivers will tell you that they're out there, they're more settled at that point, and I think they're okay after that.
Yeah, the
adrenaline, I think the owners are more nervous.
Kind of takes over at that point.
Yeah, a bloke like Justin Prentice, for example, he's explained it too. He likes being a trainer rather than driver, but he will tell you that he gets very, very nervous watching him as a trainer. And it's natural, it's a good thing.
I have asked Junior before. He says he still gets nervous, not even for a race like this, but even for any kind of race. He's a pretty easygoing guy, Junior, but when he switches on, he's lightning fast. There is no one faster than him. So
yeah, I think once they get out there, these guys, it's a definite focus. You've got the horse in front of you, you've got a mobile there, you're concentrating so deeply on what's going on underneath you or outside you and so on. That side of it goes away once they're out in the heat of the battle. It's like AFL footballers, when they run on the ground, they're dead set nervous. You can tell it the way they look. They might be laughing and carrying on, but once the game gets underway, the relaxing comes in. Relaxation comes in.
All right. We're going to go to a break now. We're going to get to that replay. Skyloo overhauling Magnus Victor in the dying strides last week.
Soho Firestone and well back on the inside. Rock and Roll Spirit in the straight though. The leader Magnus Victor. Skyloo's lifting hard now. Rocker in front is on the inside Magnus Victor, but Skyloo's cutting it down. Skyloo goes to Magnus Victor. Skyloo, Magnus Victor, and Skyloo maybe a nose Magnus Victor, and a terrific finish again. Elwoodell third, Lombo Mitchison out.
Talking Trots with Morts and Michael Radley on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
Boys and Bandits, and then comes Yankee Lincoln, followed by My Little Big Man getting well back with a Cudo. Bellissimo Cristo leads Street Hawk, who would drop to the inside, giving chase to the favourite. Bellissimo Cristo, Street Hawk. Bricky's Dream quickly into third. It's Bellissimo Cristo pulling out plenty, fending them off, and Bellissimo Cristo all the way wins the Don Randall. Bellissimo Cristo half a length to Street Hawk. Bricky's Dream, they gap the...
We touched on it last week. What a promising race it looked like being the Don Randall Memorial Cup, and Bellissimo Acquisto led home a quality field. The first three, all tremendous there. Glen dashing well clear of the rest. Yeah,
very impressive. It's a 4-year-old too, I think, Bellissimo.
Yep.
So that'll probably head towards the 4-year-old races and the Nugget, etc. But it's coming on quite nicely. I was impressed with ran a fast lead time there too, and then copped a bit of pressure for the last few sectionals and just found plenty.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Not in the field for the 4-year-old Classic this Monday, so...
No, they'll probably leave it and then build up into the other ones, I'd imagine.
They've left that one alone. Lightning Lap Series commences on Monday at Pinjarra Glen. We've got a few races there over the flying 1177, so they'll be interesting, no doubt.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go through the fields yet, but that's going to be very interesting. They're trialling that to see how turnover reacts. So, yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see. I'll be down there actually doing the barrier draw on the Monday at Pinjarra, so those Lightning Series races will be on. So that'll give us a better perspective to comment on in the upcoming weeks.
Across the weekend, we've got Northam on Saturday, first race at 6:03 there. Collie on Sunday, Joe and Margaret Savalco Memorial Day down there, first race at 12:20. And then Pinjarra Monday starting at 1:17, going right through until 5 to 6. So plenty of racing action. And then no Gloucester Park on Tuesday because it'll be on Wednesday, Melbourne Cup Day, this coming Tuesday. I like one at Northam, Glen. Race 3, number 8, Dr. Steve. I've been on this horse for a while. He's
unlucky last week, never got a run.
Ready to win. Yeah, never got a run last time. Before that, he was wide, no cover the last lap. Before that, never got a run. Things will go right for him soon, and he'll win one. And I think it's this Saturday, finally.
I know a few people reached for the oxygen mask when it couldn't get clear because the novelties, everything was affected by. I think it was the 110 set up there, and a lot of people
stuck on.
Yep, couldn't get out. So that hurt a few of the novelty punters, but they paid a huge dividend because it never figured.
It was 336.40, I think.
Yep. If it went wide, that was tremendous dividend.
And also Monday Pinjarra, I like a few down there as well. Race number 6, I like one here. Number 10, Jolene. You would have watched the race.
Yeah, very impressive, wasn't it?
Narrogin.
I know it didn't beat a lot, but it's the way, the confidence of it, confidence of Michael Young in the interview, and even though it was moderate company for a horse of her ability, she annihilated them, and she found the line very strongly. She looks like she's going to do a job there.
Imagine if you backed her to win by 10 metres plus in that race, won by 9.9 under a stranglehold.
Yeah, that's right.
In.
Looked after her late, but yeah, she's a horse that's always shown that ability. That's just needed to click. And we watched her in the early trials. You may have called a couple of them where she trialled really well, and she always looked like she was going to be a horse, but she had her little mannerisms and the maturity's coming. So yeah, that's really promising. And of course, we've got the 4-year-old classic there, Hayden, a tremendous race. Some good horses going around, nugget horses, potential nugget horses going around there. You also find Drawn 1 and El Capone trailing it. It's in Friday night, and Drawn 1 and it's got the perfect draw following. You also find Star Casino, really classy horse. Codename Marcus, a horse that's come back from over east, going well. Who's the Dad? Luca, Mr. Chip, Relum, all going well. El Capone, Bricky's Dream, Drawn 2 off the back. My watch list, been impressive. This time in Drawn 10, Awkward, and Max Better, 11, Awkward. And Ruben's Plight, one we saw trial the other day. Is another one that's entering the fray for these 4-year-olds heading towards these big races.
Yeah, and supplemented by some other good races as well. In race number 7, one of the Lightning Lap races, I like Firefly. I think Michael Young could be on for a double there. This horse has shown good progression in already his 2 starts. I think he just keeps pressing, looks for the front if he has to do the work.
Yeah, the 1177, you'll be pressing at high speed there. That's the difference in these races is they all want to come out as usual. And just watching a few over east, a lot of the leaders are getting beaten. Like if they want to go too hard that first 600, it's frantic, But it does look to have a lot of class on them. But there's more than one way to skin the cat. I've noticed quite often at Melton, the sweepers get them late.
And race 10, Tantabiddy, looks pretty hard to beat there over the mile.
Yep.
Has a heap of gate speed, that horse.
Yeah, Dream Control's racing well. Probably just camp on it. It's probably improved a little bit lately, but Tantabiddy would have a touch of class there. Sweet Lucifer's going okay too. There's a few in there. That's not a bad little race either. There's a bit of depth in the program.
Do you have a best tomorrow night?
Well, the shorties, Codebreaker looks hard to beat, obviously, but probably too short. I didn't mind if we go back to Major Express. I like the way it's going. Race 6, I think it is, number 11.
Yep.
Major Express.
2:30.
It's in the black, but an October rain, 275. I like Major Express the way it's going, and the quality of the opposition has been strong that it's beaten. So it's versatile, can be put in the race. A little bit, he'll have to do some work, but yeah, I do like that. Race 6, number 11.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. It's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. It should be fantastic.
I'll be out there in the bird cage.
That'll be good.
I'm not sure if we have anyone in the van. I know Brittany's on the track doing
that'll be interesting to see. She will probably tune in. Well, she will tune into your interviews, I'm sure, so that when she gets on the track, she can summarise a little bit of that. And obviously want to interview a few drivers as well. But no doubt Sky Channel are covering in a big way. She'll be getting around the course and interviewing a few of the big players there on the night. So I'll be looking to the Sky Channel coverage being a big night, that's for sure.
Hopefully we can get to all the drivers for the WA Derby as well. I'll be doing my best to negotiate that.
Very good.
All right. Best of luck to everyone that's going around tomorrow night at Gloucester Park. Thanks for tuning in to Talking Trots. That does it for another week, and we'll catch you next time.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.